Did you know there's a mammal out there other than humans that has what we have designated a queen, royalty, if you will? And with human royalty, when one passes away, then it's usually bloodline or marriage that determines who steps in next. When it comes to this other mammal, the naked mole rat, it's not like that. They don't have bloodlines that decide who's going to become the next queen when the queen passes away. So how does that work? Welcome back to 10 Minute Tuesdays here on Animals, Nature, and You. I'm your host, Rick Schwartz, and I know it's been a while. It's been a few weeks. It's been a busy summer. I had intended to keep 10 Minute Tuesdays going over the summer, but between a wonderful road trip, which I did plan ahead for, I had episodes built out for that, but then a lot of other things came up in the next month after that, and now we're finally near the end of August, and I feel like I've got my rhythm back and I can get 10 Minute Tuesdays going again. I do enjoy doing these episodes, and I know you have also enjoyed listening and watching, given the feedback I have received, not only for the episodes that were out earlier in the year, but then once it went away, people are asking, when is it coming back? So here we go. This particular episode, I wanted to talk about this new discovery or new realization around the naked mole rats. So if you aren't familiar with naked mole rats, they're found in Africa. They aren't truly naked in the sense that naked, obviously, what animals around nature wear clothing other than humans, so technically they're all naked. The term naked in the natural world and describing animals and their common names usually comes from the fact that we consider them to be hairless or featherless, whatever it might be. But they don't call frogs naked or salamanders. I don't know. Either way, they do have hairs. There's just not very many of them. Naked mole rats live their entire life underground. They have so many cool adaptations for being subterrestrial, and with that, it includes the ability to handle high amounts of CO2 in their system. They, for whatever reason, they don't get cancer, and so they were initially being studied for that. But here's the deal. They are also what we call a eusocial species. So that is a social structure, and it is EU social, not U as in Y-O-U or just the letter U. It's EU social, all one word. We see that with bees, specifically those that live in hives. We see it in termites, and there's a few other insect species that have it. There are some shrimp species also. There aren't too many mammals that live in this true eusocial structure. So with that, we do see some mammal species like the meerkat, where there'll be one couple that breeds, and they're the ones that have the babies, and everyone else kind of helps take care of it, and the whole group works together to maintain the colony. When it comes to mammals, though, there's a little more ebb and flow to how that works, and we've seen that in observations with meerkats and mongoose species. But the naked mole rat, it is really fascinating. So just a quick jump over to bees, honeybees real quick. The eggs, the larvae are fed a special kind of food that allows their genetics to then become a little bit different. So they're bigger, stronger, different kind or different body structure than the other bees. They can sting multiple times. They're the ones that can lay the eggs. When more than one hatches out at the same time, they will battle to the death. One becomes the queen. The other one is dead. Body gets tossed from the hive. When it comes to mole rats, they're mammals. So how does that work? Is there a special sort of way? They don't come from eggs. They're not larvae. There's not a special royal jelly. When I first started working with mole rats in the early 2000s, the literature that was available at the time and the knowledge we had gave the assumption that the queen who's in charge, so her body's physically different. Her spine is larger and longer. Her hips are different. Her body overall is bigger than any of the other mole rats. And she is the only one that breeds. She basically stays in the nest. They bring her food. She just pumps out babies. And it's impressive. It's physically obvious that she's the queen. The belief was that somewhere in her system, she's putting out hormones that suppress the ability for the other females to become pubescent or get to the point of being able to ovulate and being able to breed. And so they stay at this sort of smaller body structure, and they're part of the working colony. There's those that harvest food. There's those that maintain tunnels. There's those that run security. There's those that help take care of the babies. They all have their assigned jobs. And so that was how it always worked as far as we understood it. And then when the queen passes away, let's say from old age, that hormone then stops being produced. And so the females start to get closer to this sort of urge to breed, and they start to fight, and this huge riot occurs, this uprising against the females, and they will battle until one is finally the one in charge. She basically kicks everyone else's butt, and sometimes the biting and the fighting can become lethal. Some females will die. Others, the queen that does live, she might be severely injured or just partially injured. But then once she basically reigns supreme of the battle royale, then she is going to go through this sort of puberty. It doesn't matter how old she is. It's not age related. It has to do with the stimulus around her, where her body will change and she can start ovulating and then becomes the queen to then make the babies. Now, this is what made me decide to have this as our 10-Minute Tuesday, aside from the fact they're fascinating. They really are. There's so many cool things about them. But essentially, there's a study, and I'll put the study in the show notes, whether you're watching on YouTube or checking this out on a podcast player. The links will be down there. Essentially, research has shown us that it is not a hormone. There is a particular chemical they put out, I believe it's in their urine, that is called isopropyl myristate. It is something that is in the world around us. It doesn't seem to affect humans, and they are picking it up. They did a deep enough study to watch where the brain is activated from this stuff. That is a sense of smell. It's oral factor, not hormone, not anything other than just, they can smell it. The queen is the one that puts this chemical out, and that smell triggers something that represses the other females from wanting to fight, wanting to breed, wanting to be in charge. So although the theory when I first started working with them in the early 2000s isn't too far off, it is interesting to find out this is one particular chemical that the queen puts out there that is a chemical we have in our environment. It's a chemical you can find in cosmetics and everything else. So super interesting that it keeps the other females from going into breeding. And what it does prevent certain hormones that allows them to ovulate and want to breed and everything else. So it's pretty fascinating. And again, I'll have all those links down below for the study that shows all of this. But here's some other things too. If you happen to see an image of them, Google them. I'll put a couple of pictures I do have from when I worked with them on the YouTube video. You'll see they have incredibly large incisors. They are a true rodent. Those incisors are always growing. Like I mentioned earlier in this episode, they do live underground. They're subterrestrial, subterranean, whatever you want to call it. They do a lot of digging. And we think about digging. We think about maybe like a prairie dog or a badger, or even your pet dog. They dig with their feet, right? And they kick it out with their back feet. Dig with their front feet, kick it out with the back feet. Naked mole rats do scoot loose debris with their feet, but they will truly bite into the soil to dig. So their large, almost exaggerated looking incisors are outside of their mouth. They grow from under the nose, outside of the mouth, the lips of the mouth, and then under the chin, outside the lips as well. So when they open their mouth super wide, their muscles in the back will close the throat so they can dig even straight up using their chompers. Then they will actually dig. And because those muscles close the throat, the dirt just goes out of the mouth that way. Again, they'll use their feet to move debris around, but for the most part, those big chompers are used for digging through the soil. The other thing I've seen when I've worked with them, when the security guards of the colony feel threatened, they will cork up a tube with their bodies. They will stack and push and all be teeth forward to the threat. So if you're a snake going down the tube looking for a free meal, you're going to come up against a wall of these gnashing teeth. And because of the way they're corked and the way the mouths are, as a snake, you can't grab just one and start coiling around it. It is literally a solid wall of teeth. So it's pretty impressive. Other things that are cool about them, they recognize each other through smell. The colony has a certain odor or smell. So if another colony should cross paths with them, the tunnels cross paths, whatever it might be, they will fight. Another battle, not quite the battle royale, but quite a battle to then try and keep the other colony out. And they will use their digging powers to cork up tunnels and prevent them from coming in. They eat tubers and roots and other things that they find that's plant material, but it's all through going underneath in the earth. Their colonies can be huge, stretched for several hundred meters in different directions. They are very impressive. I'll put some links down below where you can learn more about them. But this is a 10-minute Tuesday. I know we're already heading over 10 minutes. So with that, we're going to wrap this up. I do want to encourage you, if you haven't already, please start hitting subscribe or follow. We have all sorts of cool interviews coming up with so many cool people in the next few months. Every Thursday, those new interviews come out. Every Tuesday, we have our 10-minute Tuesdays. We have another couple of cool little species we're talking about, and a reflection back to one of our other episodes we'll be talking about coming up pretty soon here. So with that, I'm going to wrap this up. Make sure you do check out my website, zoologyrick.com, if you want to get in touch with me. Social media is a great way to do it, but also fan mail is available if you want to. Anywhere you're listening to your podcast, there is a link in the body of that episode description where you can click fan mail to get a hold of me that way. All right, with that, we're going to wrap it up. Have a good one, everybody.